Hey y'all, welcome to Art with Mackenzie. Today we'll be painting Valkyrie. On these next few videos, I'll be showing you all more of my process so you can see how I go from a blank canvas to a finished piece. This is the reference photo I'm using. I print the picture out and take measurements to scale it up to a 48 by 24 inch canvas. For most of my paintings, the ratio is 1 to 5.19. I begin by figuring out noticeable points along the edge, and then I find discernible points within the picture itself. Usually they're features that come together at a point like an iris to the sclera or edges of the lips and nose. Then I transfer the points onto the canvas as you see here, using a 4-foot T-square and a 2-foot T-square. Then it's simply a matter of connecting the dots. My first coat is getting the basic colors down to make sure the colors match or at least look good to the eye. Valkyrie is a woman of color and my first person of color in this series. Well, I guess the Hulk would have been my first person of color, technically. But Valkyrie is my first using darker human melanin pigments, and I want to make sure it's accurate to her. I chose this particular picture because this is my first time in the series with brown skin, and there's not too much of it showing because of the shadows. This way, if I mess this whole piece up, it won't cover the entire portrait, but I think it turned out well. I usually start with the eyes and mouth because they have defined edges. The lips, of course, have their edges, and the eyes have the eyelids. The smaller areas let me correct any mistakes easily. Once I've defined my color palette for this, or any piece, I use a second layer to blend the skin better with the colors that I know are going to work. Why this is a great technique is because the first layer will add a bit of depth. Even if my color palette initially is way off base, the second layer will still complement the first. Now, the only way this won't work is if my palette is not complementary at all, meaning if my first layer is like blue, the second layer will either reflect that hue subtly, or I'll have to put the next layers on really thick to hide my mistake. Tessa Thompson is a gorgeous person, and she has very unique features. I need to make sure I get the details of those features correct, otherwise it'll just look like a pretty face and not necessarily hers. And what makes this portrait Valkyrie, and not just Tessa, is the war paint she wears. Sometimes working large can be especially confusing, and as you see here, the war paint I started off with was way too small, so I went back to the reference photo and took better measurements and fixed this little bouquet of oopsie daisies. I'm still figuring out skin texture on large portraits, and in future videos, once I have it mastered, I'll share that technique with you. For now, I'm just learning as I go. And that's all you can do as an artist, is to just pick up the brush and start painting and learn as you go. If you're an accomplished artist, this next ideal you should already be embracing. If you're a new artist, follow this advice. And if you're an artist not following this advice, don't take offense, but you should follow it too. And that is, every time you create a piece of art, you should be learning something new. You should learn at least one new thing about anything every day, but especially for your art. If you keep following me, I promise I'll try to teach you at least one new thing per video. For example, given enough distance and time, a human being can outrun any land animal on the planet. And, that's just a fact. Here she is, the finished piece. I think she came out beautifully. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And as a reminder, I'm going to pick one lucky person out of my first 1,000 subscribers to receive a 48 by 24 print of their choice for free. So hit subscribe and get a chance to pick any piece you want. Or if you want to buy a print of any of my art, visit my website at artwithmackenzie.com. And remember to wear your mask, y'all.